And I shut up. And they look at each other and they wink and they smile and they say, all right, let's do it. We feel pretty good about this. And I say, great. As we discussed, I've got all the documentation right here. The first thing that we're going to need to go through is the listing agreement. Then I put the comps out of the way and I put the listing agreement here. Here's your address. Here's the dates. Here's the price. Here's the commission. Are you okay with all that? Okay, great. All this other stuff is just boilerplate. I can explain it all if you'd like to. No, we're okay. Okay, great. Well, if you agree with everything we've discussed, please sign here. They sign it. I put it aside. I say, great. Here's the seller's property disclosure. I'm going to leave this with you guys so that you can fill it out and get it back to me at your convenience. It's going to take about a week, as we've discussed, to get the property on the market. So fill this out and send it back to me. This is the community association disclosure. Do you mind contacting your community association and getting this form filled out for me as well? No, we don't mind. Great. Here's the lead-based paint agreement. If you could please initial here and sign here. This says that the house was built before 1978 and that you have no knowledge of lead-based paint. Or do you? Right? And we fill it out properly. And then I say, great, guys, listen, I'm so excited to help you get your home sold. Thank you so much for your confidence in me. I promise I won't let you down. We're going to do a great job for you. Here are the next steps. And I outline what the next steps are, what they can expect, who they can expect to hear from, and I get out of there in about 20 minutes. And I list property like that all day, every day. I list property like that. I've been listing property like that for 9 years, guys.
So what are you doing in the week from the appointment to the week that it's going to take to get the home listed? Are you like, that's when you're getting pictures taken and getting the description, or what happens in that week?
Yeah, so the major things that have to occur, number one, we've got to get professional photography done. So I'm reaching out to the photographer to schedule professional photography. Number two, I'm ordering a custom sign. All of my listings have custom signs in front of them. Okay? You don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's expensive, but it's what I do. So I order a custom sign. When I say custom sign, it's just one of the wood signs. You know what I'm saying, with the posts and everything. The sign company already has like a bunch of them. So anyway, they typically just install it. But in the case that I'm all out, they have to make a new one. So I order the photography. I order the sign. Maybe we have some staging to do, so I'll get a stager over there. Whatever needs to happen to prepare the home for sale is what I do during that week. Sometimes it doesn't even take a week. Sometimes it might even take a couple days, right? But that's a situational thing. But the main things are sign, photography. You need a key, so you can put the key in the lockbox, and you got the lockbox, right? You've got to get all the data on the home put together. You need to write a description so that when you get all this, you get the lockbox on the property, the sign in front of the property, you write the description on the property, you get the photos of the property, you upload it all into FMLS, and then boom, you've got a listing on the market.
Do you have the owner pay for the staging, or do you pay for the staging?
It depends. So if it's virtual staging, I would typically pay for it myself. And it also depends on the price point of the home. Also, another thing that you can do is you can use a stager, okay, for like $100 typically. And they will stage the home with the current furniture and everything that the people have in it. Or they will make a list of recommendations for the seller to do so that they can, okay, you need to pull these things off the wall. You need to move this chair over here. You need that couch over there, you know. So stagers will do those kinds of consultations as well, which is a lot cheaper. If they want to go full-blown staging, I'm not paying for it. It's too expensive. I mean, it costs $3 or $4 grand, right? So that's not coming out of my pocket. But, I mean, I'll typically spend about $1,000 to list a property because, you know, my sign costs $300. My photography costs $200 or $300. If I'm paying a stager, that's $100, $150. I got a lockbox, that's $150. I mean, it adds up. You know, you got any print marketing that you're doing. I mean, it costs money to list property. Now, that's me. You could do it on the cheap. I mean, you could do it a lot cheaper than that. You don't have to use a $300 sign. You could just get the basic photography package. You know, so there's a lot of different ways that you could do it.
Can you just take the photos yourself?
You can, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend doing a professional real estate photographer. It makes you look a lot better. It makes you look a lot more professional. But hey, if you've got a good camera and you know how to
That's what I
take
was wondering. Yeah.
and you know how to take like real estate photography and stuff like that, then maybe that could be a value add. You know, is that hey, I also do the photography. I don't really have time. My thing is I run my business to where my main job is to make the phone calls and schedule the appointments, pre-qualify the appointments, go on the appointments and get the listing agreement signed. And then my job's pretty much over until it comes to negotiating the contract.
Yeah, Ben, at the point of introduction, you present your business card to the customer.
At what point?
First time you show up at the customer's house, you knock on the door, they open the door, you introduce yourself. You give them a card so they can confirm exactly who you are, or what? How do you handle that?
I don't, but I think that's a good idea. I don't do that. I just say, hello, I'm Ben Heidenreich, because at this point in time, I've spoken with them probably 3 or 4 times. We've gone through some pretty tough questions. We've had some pretty tough conversations already. And so I'm just sitting there with a big smile on my face, ready to get to work. But I don't think that's a bad idea. Any other questions?
So,
Ben, yeah, so when you go on the listing appointment and you're actually going through and looking through the home from the eyes of the buyer,
Yeah.
how long of a process does that take you? Like, are you lingering or are you hustling through this house?
Oh no, I'm getting through it like that. I mean,
Okay.
maybe 2 minutes. It might take me 2 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I'm taking a left. I'm going through the dining room. I'm taking a left. I'm going down the hall. I'm popping the closets open. I'm peeking my head in the bathrooms, peeking my head in the bedrooms. You know, I'm going down the hallways, just looking around, just kind of peeking in things. Go into the master, maybe go into the bedrooms, peek my head in the bathroom, look at the master closet. You know, I'm just really quickly just walking through. Turn on the lights if I need to. If I don't even need to turn on the lights, I don't even turn on the lights. I'm just looking at it. I'm going into the basement, giving it a quick sweep, going upstairs, giving it a quick sweep. Maybe takes me a minute to 2 in a like a single level house or a small house. In a huge house, maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just really just walking through, and then the last place I go is always, I kind of cut it left so that I can kind of end up in the kitchen, which is typically where you meet, is in the kitchen or the dining room.
Okay.
so is there like
If you sit on the couch, recommend that you sit on the table so that you can put your paperwork out on the table. Don't sit there on the couch with them, okay? I mean, it's not professional, guys.
So is there a key to being like a successful listing agent? Like at what point is it the fault of the agent that a house doesn't sell? Is it the lack of photography or lack of advertisement? Like what would that be?
Price, price, and price are the 3 most important things about selling property. Number 1 is price. Number 2 is price. And number 3 is price. A lot of people will tell you that the 3 most important things are price, access, and condition. A lot of people say location, location, location. A lot of people say price, location, access, condition, right? Listen, guys, if the house is on the freaking train tracks and it's properly priced, is it going to sell in a week? Yes. If somebody can't get in the property, but it's properly priced, will it sell? It will. Okay, so price is always the conversation. And it's 100% the listing agent's fault if they take an overpriced listing and the home doesn't sell. It's 100% the listing agent's fault if the photography is garbage. It's 100% the listing agent's fault. As you know, listen, every problem, guys, I want you to remember this, okay? Every problem is a leadership problem. Every problem is a leadership problem. Now, let's back that up. Each one of you on this call are leaders. You're the leader of your own life at the most basic level. Okay? So any problems that you have with your life, that's called a leadership problem. When somebody signs you up to pay you $30,000 and you don't do a good job, or you lie to them about the price, or you sit there and tell them something that's not true, or you do it on the cheap so that you can try to save money, or you don't, whatever the case is, it's always your fault if the listing doesn't sell. Even if it's the seller's fault that they wouldn't list at your price, it's your fault for taking that listing overpriced. Now, guys, look, I told you it cost me $1,000 to take a listing. How many listings can I take that don't sell? I'm not in the business of throwing money down the tubes. I hope you're not either. I'd rather do that than drive a buyer around for 4 weeks. See, if I'm a great listing agent and I'm listing property, and I told you guys a previous session, right? Great listing agent does the following every single week. Schedule 5, cancel 3, go on 2, and take 1 listing every single week. Now, if you're really good, you're not even going to have that many listings because you'll be selling listings as you take them. Just because somebody has 50 listings doesn't mean they're a great listing agent. It just means they're good at getting contracts signed. It may mean that they're a great listing agent, but what does their sold look like? What does their pending look like? What does their income look like, right? So don't judge somebody on the number of listings that they have. Judge them on how efficient they become. I'd rather take one $1.2 million listing than 3 $400,000 listings, personally. Now, a lot of people will argue with that. And hey, again, guys, it's all about how you want to run your business. I'm all about the volume game. Number of transactions, honestly, is senior to volume. And at the same time, I'm trying to take my average price point up. And you should be focused on that as you go through business as well. Because as you sell property, let's say you sell 10 properties and you do 500,000, I'm sorry, you sell 10 properties, you do $2 million in business, right? That's an average price of $200,000. Well, next year, you should be focused on selling 12 properties. We're going to go for a 20% increase across the board year over year. So if I sold 10 properties in year 1 and I'm averaged $200,000 price point, then I want to sell 12 properties in year 2 and average $220,000 price point. And I want to go up 20% every single year. I'm always trying to increase 20% on everything. And 20% is a good number, guys. At 20% a year, you double every 5 years.
So you were saying to schedule 5, cancel 3. If you pre-qualified sufficiently to get that listing appointment, and so you determine motivation, why would you be canceling if you felt that you scheduled a motivated seller?
So the pre-qualification is when the cancellations occur. So if they pre-qualify, I'm going on the listing appointment, and I probably about an 80% chance I'm getting it, right? So hey, schedule 5, go on 5, take 5. But over time, it's schedule 5, cancel 3, go on 2, and take 1, because that gets you in a rhythm to take 4 listings a month. You take 4 listings a month, you got no more money problems. You got time management problems, okay? I promise you. So the idea is to let you know that there are that you should be canceling most of the appointments that you set. In other words, don't get hung up on scheduling the appointment as a metric of success necessarily. You should be, when you're on the call with people, schedule the appointment, schedule the appointment. Okay, you don't have to, I get it. You're going to look at your calendar. How about a tentative appointment? I'm looking at my calendar. I've got Thursday at 3. I'm going to put you down tentatively. Call me back if that doesn't work, right? So the whole idea is you want to schedule the appointment when you're making the call. Now you've got appointments scheduled. Now you got to take a breather. Okay, take a look back, take a step back. Now I'm going to do an analyzation of this. Now I'm going to dig into this. I'm going to do the comparative market analysis. I'm going to decide what I think about this property. Now, application call. I got some really tough questions for them. Let's see how it goes, right? I mean, I've had people say, I'm not working with anybody that's going to ask me these kind of questions before they even come over to my house. So you can just go ahead and cancel this appointment. Okay, bye. You know what I'm saying? Because guys, you have to realize we have an average of 7,500 homes per month selling in Atlanta. You need to work with people who you make sure are a good use of your time. You need to protect your time. Oftentimes, if someone doesn't make it through a pre-qualification call, they're not signing a listing agreement anyways. And look, guys, if you only schedule one listing appointment every 2 weeks, how likely are you to pre-qualify that? You're going to be scared. You're going to be terrified to pre-qualify. Oh my God. Oh, what if they say no? I'd rather just go over there and let them stick the dagger in my heart. Don't do it over the phone. So I want you guys to commit to scheduling a lot of appointments, okay? It's only when you schedule a lot of appointments that you're okay canceling the ones that don't work out. If you're not, you know what I'm saying? Now that requires hard work. It's not easy. That's not an hour a day. That's not 30 minutes on Monday and 2 hours on Tuesday. And I told you guys yesterday, 6 months I did that wishy-washy thing. I did 4 deals. And a lot of people say, oh, wow, that's pretty good. Okay, well, in the second 6 months, I did 24 deals. That's what I think is good, right? So because I committed, I said, all right, I'm doing this. I'm going 4 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week, if that's what I got to do, and I'm going to make this happen. Guys, if you work that hard, you have no problem scheduling appointments. It becomes boring after a while, guys. Oh, got another listing appointment. Honestly, I don't even want to drive to Cartersville today. Hopefully this one will freaking pre-qualify out. That's what we call it, pre-qual. You know, they pre-qual out and they pre-qual in. Oh, they pre-qualed in. I guess I'm going to Cartersville. Man, you better get it if you're going to drive to Cartersville. Okay, you better get it. Don't be wasting my gas. I got a V8. You know what I mean? Don't be wasting my gas.
I missed your session yesterday, and so I was just wondering, you may have mentioned it. When do you make your calls for when you feel like is the best time for, speaking to those owners?
So here's the way that the schedule of a great listing agent looks, okay? They get to the office around 8 a.m. They start prospecting around 8:30 if they don't have PC Power Up. If you have PC Power Up, you do your PC Power Up at 8:30 and you start prospecting at 9, right? So you start prospecting around 8:30 or 9. You prospect to noon. You stop prospecting at noon. From noon to 3, you're going to do any follow-up calls. You're going to be doing any listing packages. You're going to be analyzing comparative market. You're going to be getting prepared for the afternoon. The best time to prospect is in the morning, guys, because it's the only time you can guarantee that it happens every single day. I promise it's the only time you're going to be able to guarantee it. Now, right now in the beginning, you might not have much going on, so you can probably guarantee it all day, right? But as you start getting busy, you're going to be wanting to do your listing appointments in the late afternoon, early evening. So the way that your day goes is broken into 3 parts. In the morning, you're going to be prospecting for business. In the afternoon, between noon and 3, you're going to be working on your business and preparing for your afternoon appointments. In the afternoon, you have 3 appointment slots, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9. Your job in the morning is to fill those appointment slots in the afternoon. If you don't fill an appointment slot in the morning, you're prospecting in the afternoon to fill an appointment slot for tomorrow afternoon. And you're prospecting tomorrow morning to fill appointment slots for that afternoon. So your job is to fill that book up with as many listing appointments as possible. And then between the 12 to 3 time, prepare for the listing, do your pre-qualification calls, get your people into command, work on your business, right? Between 12 and 3. Basically, if you guys know about the 80-20 rule, okay? 80% of the activities that you do account for 20% of your revenue, whereas 20% of the activities that you do account for 80% of your revenue. We want those 20% activities to account for 80% of our time. So 80% of my time is going to be focused on doing the 20% of activities that make 80% of the money, i.e. prospecting, pre-qualifying, negotiating contracts, going on listing appointments, showing buyers property, getting buyer listings and seller listing agreements signed. That's all I'm doing for most of the day. My time between 12 to 3 is spent with my transaction coordinators, my assistants, or whoever I have working with me on my business to make sure that we keep keeping everything on the rails. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm out. I got to go. And I just go. We need to take a break, guys. And I haven't even gotten into any of the session material. Maybe I've covered more of it than I think, but nonetheless, let's take a break. Devin, are you there? Did I lose everybody? I feel like I've been talking for an hour straight.
You've been motivating us.
Am I? Good. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I can just keep going. Ask Devin. She'll drive her crazy.
You're a talker, but it's good talk, though.
So let's get the screenshots and let's go on a break. Right now, it is 12:06. I'm sorry, what is it, 2:06? Good Lord. It's 2:06. So we'll go on a break from 2:08 to 2:18, okay? So if you guys don't mind, hang out for a couple minutes. And, oh, I got a text from Devin. I'm supposed to check the chat. Check the chat. Check the chat. Y'all chatting it up? What do I got here? Where's that daggum chat? There it is. Oh, Lord. I'm stepping out for a while. Out. I need you to do the next screenshot. Got it. Okay. Devin let me know she needs me to do the screenshot. So let me see here. Grid view. All right. I'm doing the screenshot. Y'all smile. Boom. Screenshot number 1. How do I get to the next page?
There should be an arrow to the right on your screen if you have it all tiled.
Oh, boom. There it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Whoever just helped me with that.
That's me, Lisa.
Second screenshot. Boom. All right, guys. I'll see you back at 2:18, okay?
Turn yours off too, Ben.
Why? I'm getting ready to do some workout over here. I'm going to do some push-ups.
Because I feel like a peeping Tom, so I don't want to see you. Go ahead. Thank you.
18. Oh.
Is anyone still around and want to chat while we're like hanging out?
I'm around.
Spirit.
Yeah, I know we've been going over like listing stuff, and I don't know if it's like my nerves and anxiety, but I'm so kind of weirded out about pursuing listings because of my time constraints. Like I really just don't. I barely have time to find buyers right now, and I'm wondering like how on earth am I going to juggle a full-time job, do listing presentations, call FISBOs, call, like stock down business, keep up with one business. Like I had to do my work for my job on Sunday night because I'm like,
I know. I don't know how I'm supposed to do it with kids home. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, am I supposed to drag them along? I mean, I don't know. They're not
Is
going
it
back.
possible?
But the beautiful part is, Rachel, like, I don't think anyone minds if you bring your kids. I mean, that's the
But they're like
Hello.
4. You can hear. That's why I'm on mute
No.
all the time because they
Hello.
just be.
we
Yes.
can hear you, Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah.
I think that you might have to just get a sitter for when you do that. And I think that's what Ben, at least this is what I'm getting from him, is that everything has to be scheduled and we just have to make a commitment to it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure when Ben makes his phone call, he probably doesn't do phone calls anymore, but it was some class I just took, and the guy said, he locks himself in his office for 2 hours, and everyone in his household, the children, the wife, the dog, everyone knows you can't
that's
come
my
in
time.
right now.
Yeah. It's just my 8-year-old is good about it. They're just bored. We've all been stuck for so long. I'm just doing a day at a time, but like in the future, I'm like, if they're, I don't know.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I took my daughter with me like to like the open houses because like I said, I've only been an agent for like 7, maybe 9 days or something.
Me too. Yeah, I'm super new too.
Yeah, I just took them with me, like because I have a 7-year-old and a 16-year-old. Now I don't know how. Like, I get what you're saying. I don't know how professional it would be like if you're actually doing the hosting.
Right. Well, I did host, and my husband can watch, on the weekends. But I'm just thinking. I mean, they're just always home.
No, I know, especially with the school. That was my thought process. The school is about to be like.
I hope they go. I mean,
that's kids. How are you going to help them with their classwork?
That's what. Yeah, I have to like hover over. So that's my key. So yeah, you can't just be like, go read, But
yeah,
I mean,
they might not do it.
I don't have kids, but one of the first things they said in this class is to be honest. What you are experiencing is it is by no fault.
Everyone is. Right, yeah.
The result of the world that we live in and the current situation of the environment. So, I don't see anything wrong with saying like, hey,
I need to get a sitter.
Yeah, or, my kids are with me. I couldn't find anyone to sit with them. Yeah. Do you mind if they come?
No, but
they play on their tablet while I,
do it on Zoom
and see what you can get.
I was going to ask him about a Zoom listing appointment. I mean, I know they need to sign, but I think you can do everything in DocuSign. So
you could do it on Zoom.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be as I'd rather go, but
and then you also
in this age of COVID, I would actually start thinking that more people would be open to doing Zoom meetings rather than me coming into your house. If we're just going to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just say, hey, pardon my kids in the background. I mean, you appeal to so many. Think about how many people you'll talk to that are in your exact same situation. Right. And their kids are in the background too. Life goes on, I don't think I wouldn't get hung up on it because I don't think anybody is like, oh, well, we wanted to do business with her, but her kids were running.
Who doesn't want to do business with somebody because they have kids?
Right.
Anything that should make you more personal.
You see your foot like coming up.
Rachel. Can you hear me, Rachel?
Yes.
Everybody. So my son is older though, he's 13. So now if I had an open house, I will take my son and just dress him up and he's my assistant.
Well, it's a great thing for them to learn too.
It is, but I'll be very clear though, like if you came to me, did I ever I took my son once on a listing appointment and he embarrassed me. Everything I told him not to do, he did.
Yeah.
Did you get the business, Claudette?
So
Well, let me take that back. It wasn't on a listing appointment, but I took him for another reason. I can't remember why he went to that house with me. I did get the listing, but he didn't go with me when I was actually getting the listing. But I will say this, like if you came to my house and you said, well, I have my children here because whatever reason, and I love children, I wouldn't give it to you because that for me, it would tell me that you don't have a system.
Yeah, you're not organized.
I'm the complete opposite. I don't have children at all. Like kids are not a part of my life. I don't even have kid-friendly beverages in my refrigerator. But if you brought your kid, I would look at it like, look, this is a woman that's on her grind, who's doing what she has to do in the best way that she can do it to get the business done. Like, I would rather you bring your children with you and still conduct a professional appointment than for you to not bring them, and I not get the appointment. Like, ultimately, the goal is for us to talk, for us to chat. Like, I could see if your kids are like flipping over my couch and coloring on my walls with crayons and stuff. But if they are seated and, under control, if there is such a thing as under control kids, but I wouldn't.
Ideally, I don't want to have to do that because they'd be bored too. But I'm just.
I would just say be honest about it.
Like, to work on a daily basis.
I wouldn't worry about it.
I took my kids. I had twins, and I took them to my first open house. And basically, one of my buyers and sellers, he worked with me for 25 years after that, and he said the reason was because he saw I was a hustler. And so basically, during my real estate career, people just kept up with my girls. They knew they came with me. I was a single mom, didn't have any money, didn't have a car. I hustled my way, and people, they respected that. So always, I think if they're a part of your family, they're a part of your story.
Yeah.
But would you, Latanya,
I don't have kids. I was the same way as Latanya, what her kids are with my mom when my mom was living. We went with my mom everywhere, and we were a part of her business. Not, as we got older, we started, being her assistant, and it's my job to turn the page for you, and it's my job to click on the button so the screen changes to the next, But watching that, I can tell you now at 34, now that my mom has departed, the spirit that what I learned from watching my mom is the power behind my own business now. Like, watching her do what it took, period. Like, there was no, you get what I'm saying? Like, there was no wasn't an option. Like, I watched my mom hustle, and I watched.
What was her business?
My mom owned a legal staffing agency. So you already know where I was running around. At least your kids will be in people's homes. I was in people's law offices making copies of my hands on their paper.
Yeah, I used to do.
And coloring and using all the copy paper to write stories. But I mean, it is what it is, and it's the world that we live in. And you can just say, like, it's important to me that my kids see me work this business.
Exactly.
And it's important
that your clients see your kids, because
so it's important to them to watch, for their kids to watch them buy this house, to watch
Rachel
conduct their business. Don't use your story as a stifling situation. Your story is going to motivate someone, and that could be what separates you from the people who aren't bringing their kids. So just use it.
Rachel. Rachel.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be funny. If you were to take your kid, and I know this really wasn't the question. The question was, how can you organize your day with your kids in the house?
With everyone home constantly.
With everyone home. I get it, because, I mean, I'm actually a teacher. So,
are you?
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out now, like, okay, so when am I going to make my phone calls after school, on Saturdays, and all of that. But in regards to taking your child taking your cherubs, your angels, on a listing appointment, I would say ask Ben, because where your 4-year-old sit down, like you don't. I said, where your 4-year-old sit, their children.
Oh,
guys.
sometimes. Hey. They're in here now. The whole house, this is where they're at right now.
Yeah. Ben, can we ask you a question?
Yeah. Everybody turn your cameras on so I can get some good shots of you. Hey, hey.
Hey.
All right, I got that.
Thank you.
Actually, Brandon, where you at? There you are. Okay, got that one.
Did you get me?
I did.
Okay, great.
And
Claudette, are you going back?
Back where? To
I mean, are
school?
you doing virtual or how? What?
We're virtual.
What county?
DeKalb.
We're
Ben,
virtual too. We're Cobb.
Your Cobb, yeah.
For
Ben,
now, I guess. What?
Yeah.
Cherokee is starting Monday, I think, and live.
God
Crazy.
bless him.
I know.
Ben.
all right, guys, let's get back into it.
Ben.
Yes.
So we were having this discussion on break. And the discussion was, should you bring your children with you on a listing appointment? What's your feedback on that?
No.
I agree.
I mean, you know, I guess extreme times call for extreme measures. I realize that a lot of people are doing this as, you know, a part-time job or a second career or maybe something like that. And you just need to organize your schedule so that you can deliver on the highest possible level. A lot of the things that I talk about are going to be focused on what it looks like to be a full-time, 100% in real estate person, because that's who I am, right? But I have a wife and she's a hairstylist and we put the salon in our house and we have a son and we have a dog. And, you know, if it was up to her to sell real estate, then it would be a lot different. So I think you have to do the best you can do. And you know, and at the same time, it requires a lot of energy and focus and time to become successful in this business. So I would recommend, at a minimum, you got to protect your prospecting time and you have to schedule your appointments around when it works for you. You know, does that help?
Yes.
All right, guys. So in the book, we're going to go to page 11 real quick. I want to get through some of this material.
Are you taking the screenshots or is Devon back to take them?
A lot of static there.
Hey, I was asking him if he has to take screenshots on behalf of Devon.
Whoever's talking right now is nothing but static.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. It's probably my headphones. I was asking if you're going to take the screenshots since we're all back from break, or is Devon going to do it?
No, I already took the screenshots.
Oh, you took it already. Okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, guys. So back to page 11. Get your head in the game. So I want you guys to look at this funnel right here. You've got leads to appointments, appointments to agreements, agreements to contracts, and then the closing, which is payday. All right. Now, the key here is you got to focus on the fact that you're going to have more leads than you do appointments. You're going to have more appointments than you do agreements. And you're going to have more agreements than you do contracts. So when we talk about leads to appointments, right, that's when we're pre-qualifying our listing appointments, right? When you schedule an appointment with somebody, they are a lead, right? They're not an appointment until you go on the appointment. So you're going to have leads that don't pre-qualify, and then you're going to have leads that do pre-qualify, and you're going to go on appointments with them. Now, you're going to go on appointments, but not everybody is going to sign the listing agreement with you. So you're going to have less agreements signed than you do appointments. And then all of the agreements that you get signed are not going to sell, okay? So just because you get a listing agreement signed doesn't mean the listing is going to sell. Hopefully it will because you price it right, but sometimes it just doesn't, guys, okay? And so that's going to determine you're going to have less contracts than you do agreements. And then you're going to have not every one of your contracts are going to close. So you're going to have less closings than you do contracts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But can you make sure, or how can you make sure that your contract equals closing?
That what now?
Your contracts, written contracts equals the amount of closing as well. In other words, everything balances out.
Well, you really can't. You know, it's really not up to you. Your job is to get it from the appointment to the listing agreement to the actual listing on the market, then get it under contract. After you get it under contract, I mean, you know, if the buyer's financing falls through, that's out of your control. If the inspection report finds something wrong with the property that the buyer doesn't now agree to buy the property, that's out of your control. You can't do anything about that. So in a lot of cases, you can't do anything. Now, the best thing that you can do is properly price the property. That's how you really get that closing ratio up. And it's how you get your listings taken to listings closed, is what we call it, ratio up, is you price property properly. It can also, you know, result in less items and less issues during the inspection period.
Okay.
So marketing and selling your listing, right? Very important, guys. You know, staging the property doesn't necessarily have to mean that, you know, you're bringing in somebody with a truckload of furniture. Maybe it does mean that. Sometimes it just means getting the clutter, getting the sellers to declutter, right? Sometimes it means maybe moving some of their furniture around. There are staging articles and all different types of things that you can look up to give you tips. There are all types of YouTube videos that you can look up that will give you tips on how to discuss staging with your clients. Here's the way that I describe it, okay? Have you ever been to a hotel room? Most people have been to a hotel room. And when you went to the hotel room and you walked in, were you able to just throw your bags on the bed and feel comfortable that you had finally gotten to a safe place where you had some privacy, and you take ownership of the space immediately? Why is that? Well, number one, there's no clutter. Number two, it's very clean. Number three, there are no pictures on the wall other than maybe a little art or a landscape scene or something like that. So the perfectly staged home is the same. It's kind of the same thing as like a really nice hotel suite. You know, the hotel suites that have the couches and all that kind of stuff. Walk in there and take ownership, okay? You want the buyers of the home to be able to walk in and just kind of take ownership. Does that make sense? Now, you can also do virtual staging, which is where a photographer, a professional photographer, come out and take a professional photo, and then they will virtually put furniture in there to make it look like there's furniture there, but there's not really furniture there. That's called virtual staging.
How do you decide at home what kind of photography a home is worth? I don't want to spend more money getting your house in front of people than I'm going to make at the table. So how do you, like, is there a price point where you say, okay, this is a cell phone picture type of sale, or this is a, you know, virtual walkthroughs? Like, what gauge do you use, or is it up to the client and what they want to pay for?
I think it's up to a standard of business that you hold for your business. You know, even a $100,000 sale, you're going to make $3,000 to $6,000. Professional photos cost $150. So, I mean, for me, it's a non-negotiable thing for my listings. I mean, I'll freaking send a professional photographer out to a $50,000 trailer. I don't care. But, you know, that's me. You know, you can have different ways that you do it. But guys, you have to remember, I mean, this is not, you have to remember the amount of money that you're asking people to pay you. Now, if you're going to take a listing at $100,000 at 0.5% and you're only going to make $500, then I'm not spending anything. I'll just take a shot of the outside with it with my phone. But what is that when you post that picture, when you're on Zillow, when your name is on this stuff? What does that say about you? Don't you want, when you're prospecting, do you think people are looking you up? I guarantee you they are. When they look you up, do you want them to see a like weird, like rectangular shape, kind of sideways, you know, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm the realtor that also takes my own pictures with my phone. Isn't that right? I'm doing this on the cheap, guys. Please sign listing agreement. I mean, I'm being funny. I'm joking. I'm not making fun of anybody, okay? I mean, obviously, I'm just joking. But do you get my point? I mean, I'm just trying to make a point to you from the eyes of the seller, okay? This is the biggest transaction they'll ever do in their life, guys. Unless they have like millions of dollars in the stock market or hundreds of thousands of dollars in the stock market. This is the biggest deal of their life. How do you want to be represented on the biggest deal of your life? Do you want somebody showing up with their kids and taking pictures with their cell phone? Maybe you're cool with that. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'll drop my kids off at my friend's house, at my mom's house, at my cousin's house, at my, you know, whoever. I'm doing whatever I can to make sure that I can show up on point. Now, that may not work for you guys in your lifestyle and whatever. I'm not talking negatively about it. I'm just saying you're in competition with other people and you want to win. Now, a lot of people have different listing styles, okay? I know people that use their kids to get listings. That's cool. You know, use them. Dress them up. Put them in a nice bow tie. Get him to ask for the signature or her in a dress or whatever, right? I mean, I realize that everybody has a different level of challenge as it pertains to getting into this business. And at the same time, you know, the way you start is really the way that you're going to perform throughout your career. And so I would recommend setting a level of professionalism for yourself. Even if you are going to bring your kids, can you set them up in the car with the car on and the car locked and the emergency brake on their iPad and tell the seller, hey, I got 30 minutes because my kid's in the car. You know what I mean? Versus bringing the kid in the house or whatever the case may be. And again, guys, this is a big reason why we pre-qualify. The first question I ask in the pre-qualification script, hey, if everything I say makes sense when I come over tomorrow at 3 p.m. and you feel comfortable and confident in my ability to get your home on the market and get it sold, are you planning to go ahead and list the home with me when I come out? If they say yes, how much is that worth to you? Is it a $300,000 home? Well, then it's worth $9,000 to $18,000. If you don't grasp that fact, guys, you're going to lose. You've got to look like, act like, talk like, be like $9,000 to $18,000. As a matter of fact, it's $18,000 because they look at it as 18 grand. They don't really give a damn if they're paying it to you or someone else. They're paying 6% to get the job done. You know what I mean? So, you know, do you look like 18 grand? Do you feel like 18 grand? Would you write you a check for $18,000? Would you write someone like you a check for $18,000 if you showed up how you show up? These are important questions to ask yourself, guys. You have to look at it this way because you know what? They do look at it that way. So if you're not looking at it that way, you're missing a big piece of what's really happening out there. You're missing a big piece of it. I don't care if it's a $100,000 house, guys. It's $6,000. I'll drive to freaking Savannah, Georgia for $6,000 every day. Every day. $6,000 a day. I'll drive to Savannah every day. Okay, for $6,000 in a suit. Huh? Yeah. That's what I'm saying, guys. So, like, what are we really talking about here? You know what I'm saying? What are we really talking? We're talking about making money here. This is what we're here for, right? So you guys can like modify it to whatever it is that fits your life, but that doesn't change the game. The game is the game. You're going to play the game at whatever level you can, and that's okay. You know, it's okay. I mean, everybody has different challenges and things that they've got going on. But the game is the game, guys. Properly pricing property is incredibly important. And making sure that you're not wasting your time is incredibly important. So, you know, we've got to stage property. We've got to market property. How do we market property? There's no better advertising than a sign in someone's front yard with your name on it. A big, beautiful red sign in someone's front yard with your name on it. Best advertising possible. Why do I spend $350 or more on my signs? Guys, I just put a property under contract, right? The seller goes, hey, could you get an under contract rider on it? I said, yeah, but I don't have any right now. I'm going to have one made. He said, you're going to have one made? Why don't you just go buy one from Home Depot? I said, because I don't put Home Depot riders on my signs. I mean, it's going to look great, right? Because all the neighbors are watching. And guess who my next call is to? All the neighbors. Hi, Ben Heidenreich, listing agent for 123 ABC Street, right across the street from you. I just wanted to let you know that I just put the property under contract. And we had a lot of interested buyers. So I'm confident that the next home that goes for sale in the neighborhood is going to sell pretty quickly. And so I'm just calling to see, are you interested in selling at this time? Because if so, we could probably get you a good price and get it sold pretty quickly. No? Okay, thank you for your time today. Do you know anybody in the neighborhood who may be interested in selling? Oh, Miss Johnson. Okay, do you mind? Could I get her phone? You know, everything leads on to the next thing, guys. You have to do the listing pyramid. The listing pyramid is you take one listing and you turn it into two. And then you take those two listings and you turn them into four. And then you take those four listings and you turn them into 8. And so there you take one listing and you turn it into 12 or 13 or 14 or 15 listings. That's how you dominate a neighborhood. But you have to get one. Remember that story I told you guys? Guys, look, if I wasn't holding open houses on Saturday and Sunday every single weekend, what if I just would have held it open the first weekend and said, nobody showed up, I guess I'll just go do something else next weekend? I would have never gotten the buyers to walk through for the condo. I would have never gotten the condo listing. If I wouldn't have held the condo listing open every single weekend, then I wouldn't have had the Brookhaven people come through that paid cash. And I wouldn't have got that deal too. Guys, second place pays nothing in this business. It pays nothing. First place pays 100%. Second place pays nothing. So when we talk about winning, when we talk about you want to play to win, that's what I'm talking about. Give me a second real quick, guys. I got to get my phone on a charger real quick. Give me 1 second. My phone was about to die, so I had to get it fixed. So with regard to marketing property, guys, most important thing, sign in the front yard. What's the next most important thing? Well, we know that 99.999% of buyers are looking online first. So is it important to have great photography? Yes. Yes, it is. Now, write this down. iMoto. I-M-O-T-O. iMoto Photo. Okay? Look them up online. iMoto Photo. Guys, I sell property from 100,000 to freaking 5 million. I use the iMoto Photo for every single one. They've got all different types of photography packages. They've got video, they got drone, they got tripods, they got virtual staging, nighttime shots, virtual nighttime. I mean, they got it all, okay? You could spend as little as 150 bucks. You could spend as much as a couple thousand. Just depends on what you need.
Who do you use for your yard signs? Who do you use for your signs?
I use Farmer Signs. I use Farmer Signs. Now, your market center is going to have some great sign vendors as well. So, you know, also what I would recommend that you guys do initially, instead of ordering a bunch of signs, your market center probably has some like yard signs that you can buy from them for like 30 bucks with Keller Williams, you know, whatever your office is. And then you'll just need a sticker with your name and your phone number on it. They're called sign decals, name decals, right? I mean, for like 30 bucks, you can order like 50 name decals. I would recommend that you go ahead and reach out to Farmer Signs or whoever your sign vendor is at your market center. You can ask your leadership and order those name decals so that when you get a listing, all you have to do, you get your first listing, you don't have a lot of money. All you got to do is take that sign decal, pay 30 bucks for the yard sign. It's a beautiful KW sign. And you're going to very carefully place your name on both sides of the sign, and that can get you going, okay? That can get you going. That would be my recommendation.
What is the iMoto? How do you spell that? Is it I as in the letter I and then M-O-D-O photos?
I-M-O-T-O.
Oh, Moto. Okay, thank you.
iMoto, yes. iMoto Photo.
Okay, thank you.
Kind of rhymes, of course. Yeah, check them out online. They're great. So
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
When it comes to putting photos on your listing, is there such thing as too many photos, too little photos? What's the sweet spot that you need to be hitting in on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I tend to go for less is more. I want to inspire a showing. I don't want to give everybody all the material up front, right? So I'm going to do the best shots. I'm going to get a really great shot of the kitchen. I'm going to get a really great shot of the backyard, a really great shot of a bedroom. I may not show every bedroom and every bathroom. It might be a 5-bed, 5-bath house. I might show the master bath. Somebody's got some serious static going on. There you go. It was Lisa. You're all good. No worries. So, okay. So great question. Less is more. So I would say like 10 photos is optimal, 10 to 15. You can do as many as 30. I think 25 or 30 is what FMLS allows. I typically go for like 10 to 15 of the best shots. Likewise, on social media, that's another part of your marketing, okay? So we went through the first two important things. Number one is a sign. Number two, great photography on FMLS. Every real estate website, Zillow, Redfin, every single site, they get their data from FMLS. So whatever it is that you put in FMLS is going to be reflected on Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, every other website, okay? So therefore, getting the listing in FMLS and getting the sign in the front yard are the two most important things for marketing yourself, your business, and your listings. That's number one and number two. Number three. Hello? Hi, it's Ben Heidenreich. I just listed a home down the street from you, and I was calling to see if you might know anyone who wants to move into the neighborhood. No? Okay, thank you very much for your time today. By the way, when do you plan on moving? Your personal outreach to the neighborhood, that's the third most important thing as it pertains to marketing yourself, your business, and your listings. Number four, social media. Blast it out there, guys. Instagram, Facebook, paid Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, right? As much as you want, overdo it. Don't worry about it. Put it out there, advertise it. So important, okay? You're in the digital realm. Number five, open houses. Now, with COVID going on, open houses are kind of weird. That's another thing I was going to tell. I think it was, that's another thing I was going to tell the person who was talking about how she did an open house and nobody came, right? COVID's weird right now, guys. People are freaked out. You know what I mean? So in many cases, open houses are tough right now, but you should still be holding them open because people want to see you working. Yes.
I did 2 last weekend and people came, which was great. The leftover, yeah, it was good. The leftover flyers, because I had some, should I just like go around the neighborhood?
Absolutely.
But do people, because of COVID, want me knocking on their door, or should I just stick it in the mailbox?
All right, so very important. Everybody listen. Never stick anything in anybody's mailbox. That's number one. It's called mail fraud. You can get in a lot of trouble for it. Now, that being said, a great thing to do is have a rubber band, do a hole punch, do a little rubber band tie off, put it on their doorknob, put it on their handle to the mailbox with a rubber band. As long as not,
I can put it on the handle. I can put it on the handle, not in it.
You can rubber band it to the handle. Absolutely.
Okay.
Can I interject? Hey guys, Jasmine here. I actually went door knocking in Austell a couple weeks ago, and I tried to go at a time where I figured people would actually already be outside. So I went around noon. So I did knock on doors. A lot of people didn't answer the door, but I tried to actually make it so I wouldn't have to like knock on someone's door. But I actually had pretty good success when I went out there. I talked to a lot of people. I didn't get anybody to sign anything, but that might be an option for you as well. I went on Saturday, like at around between 12 and 1. So just a suggestion.
Thank you, Jasmine, and congratulations to you for having the courage to go and do that.
I was terrified, but we made it work.
Guys, you have to remember the scary things are what produce the business. It's weird like that, but it's true.
Can I add something?
You know, and honestly, people appreciate it. People appreciate your hustle. They appreciate the grit, guys. This is America, okay? This is the land of the free. This is the land of entrepreneurship. This is the land of, you know, be who you want to be. So, yeah, you're going to get some weird people that are going to be like, go away. We already have a realtor or, you know, whatever, right? And you also want to be very safe, especially for all the females, you know. You want to be very, and the males too, I mean, but you want to be safe when, you know, it's always a good idea to go with a partner to door knock. Even if it's, you know, somebody that you're working with, it could be your spouse, it could be whoever. Somebody maybe is sitting in the car and you get out of the car and you go and you knock on the door and you talk, and then you get back in the car and you go to the next house and you go knock on the door. And you get, you know, I mean, it's just always good to have a partner when you're going out and doing those kinds of things. Now, Very important, right? Make sure you're keeping in mind that people are really freaked out right now over this whole COVID thing. So knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and step way back, more than 6 feet, right? And then when they answer the door, what are you going to say? You need to have that planned out. You need to know what it is that you're going to say when they answer the door. Great way to market your listing. Door knock the neighborhood, right? You know, on page, what is this, 16, you've got a 14-step marketing plan here. And I'm just going to read through it. Number 1, price the home competitively with the current market and price trends. Number 2, advise sellers on how to attract buyers by showing their home in the best possible light. Number 3, place a for sale sign with property flyers easily accessible to drive-by buyers. Number 4, respond to all buyer inquiries immediately. Number 5, optimize the home's internet presence by posting your property in Keller Williams listing system, local and global MLS systems, and on social media with plenty of photographs and a description of the property. Number 6, market the home on multiple websites, including your own site, My KW Local Office, and KW National sites to attract both local and out-of-time buyers. Number 7, post the home on your branded KW app. Number 8, create flyers and comment cards for viewers of the property. Number 9, distribute just listed notices to neighbors, encouraging them to tell family and friends about the home. Number 10, target your marketing to active real estate agents who specialize in selling homes in the neighborhood. Number 11, include the home in your company and MLS tours, allowing other agents to see the home for themselves. 12, create an open house schedule and market and host the open house to promote the property to prospective buyers. 13, target active buyers and investors in your database who are looking for homes in this price range and area. 14, provide the seller with weekly updates detailing your marketing efforts, including comments from the prospective buyers and agents who have visited the home. It's a 14-step marketing plan, guys. Any questions?
No. Harp on this sign thing again, but so what is the turnaround time for you to get the custom sign? And then do you put something in the yard in the interim, or you just leave it blank until you get the custom sign?
It depends. I mean, it depends on how busy the sign company is. It depends on when you want to get the property listed. If they want a sign in the yard immediately, I'll put one of those little stick down signs in the yard until the professional sign is there. It typically takes about a week, and that's if they don't have to make the sign for you. So it can take up to 2 weeks to get a sign, depending on whether you already have one or not and what their schedule looks like.
Ben, can you hear me? Ben, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was wondering, where do we get the phone numbers for the neighbors when we do the circle prospecting around our listing?
There's a lot of different resources out there for you to get phone numbers. Cole, C-O-L-E, Cole Realty Resources is a great one. Cole Realty Resources.
Thank you.
There's also another one called Mojo. There's one called Vulcan 7. Also, you can go to whitepages.com. There's a free tool, and then there's also a tool. The premium is $6.99 a month. Whitepages.com. If you can find somebody in the HOA, they might have a little HOA book that you might be able to acquire somehow. That's always helpful.
Okay.
You got to get creative, you know.
Can I share a bad confession?
Sure.
So I got a listing, but he only wanted to sign for a short period of time, and I thought it was overpriced. So I said, well, I'm not going to put out professional pictures. I don't want to spend money doing this. And I regret it. I did get a contract he did agree to a contract. So I'm like, okay. And then for whatever reason, the contract didn't go through. But now I'm like, I'm going to have pictures done tomorrow. And this is my first time ordering signs here. So I ordered one of the stick signs, but I really hate that I did not, do what I knew I was supposed to do, which was to order a real sign.
Yeah.
So just a learning lesson for me that any listing I take, I have to be like 100% committed to it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Claudette. That's a great point. And, it brings into light one of the things that we've hit on a few times, which is make sure that you believe that the price that you're taking the listing for is going to cause it to sell. Don't go into a listing, don't take it if you don't think it's going to sell. Just walk away. Sometimes the best deals that you do are the ones that you don't do. So thank you for sharing that. All right, guys. So it's time for another break. It is 2:57 right now. Please, everybody, turn your cameras on so that we can get the screenshots. And we're going to go on break from 2:58 to 3:08, and then we'll wrap it up. All right? So we're going to take some screenshots. Smile for the camera. All right, here we go. All right, got it. Cool, guys. See you at 3:08. Good afternoon. We're coming back online. And it's 3:07. We got about a minute or so. You guys could all turn your cameras on, please, so we can get the shots. And give it a minute or so for everybody to get back. And obviously what we're talking about right now, guys, is marketing your listing. And I think we covered a lot of that. Now, listen, guys, I realize that a lot of the things that I'm saying, I realize that a lot of the things that I'm saying may be overwhelming to you at this moment in time, at this moment in your career. And if we don't get another chance to talk or do business together or whatever, you know, I hope that the information that I've been able to give you so far is going to help you as you proceed in your real estate career. You know, I don't want to. I think there's a lot of fluff out there, and I think there's a lot of you know, I don't know the right way to say it without saying something that maybe, but there's just a lot of fluff out there, okay, as it pertains to this business. And I think that is, I think it hurts people to give unrealistic expectations of what it takes. There's no mistake that I was the person who taught the 3 classes that deal with listings, okay? And that's what we've been talking about for this course and the previous 2. And there's a lot of ways to make money in real estate. You can work with buyers, you can lease property, you can do commercial, you can do industrial, you can do all these different things. But the truth is, listing property is the most profitable and the way to most highly leverage your time so you can make the most amount of money in the least amount of time. All right, we're going to get some screenshots. Please turn this on. And let's see, turn it on. Dolores, are you there? All right. I don't know if she is or not. All right, cool. So I guess, guys, look, I want to be honest with you. And
I'm sorry, before you, did I make it into your first one? I had switched over to go to my internet because I'm on my phone.
I'm not sure. Brandon, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, cool. Let me do that again then.
Was I not in the picture?
I'm not sure. It was just kind of dark. So like, you were blacked out, but then you just came back on.
Gotcha. It must have been like near my leg and taking my dogs out.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries at all. All right, next one. Courtney, are you there? All right, cool. So, Chaz, are you there? Got you.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you, man. Just want to make sure. All right, cool. So anyways, guys, the point of what I'm trying to tell you right now is that, you know, I realize that what I'm talking about is pretty heavy. And at the same time, if you can find a way to build your life around a schedule of business development, going on listing appointments and taking listings, I promise you, it will pay off. I know a lot of people want to work with buyers. I think you should work with buyers. Guess what the best source of buyers are? Listings. Listings. Guess who calls listings? Buyers. Guess who sellers become after they sell their home? Buyers. So if you want to work with buyers, go find listings, guys. Go find listings. You know, also, you want to work with people who have to buy, not who just want to buy one day, maybe when they get their stuff together and they get the credit figured out and they get the money saved up. Okay? That's a waste of time. How about this? Well, I'm getting a divorce and therefore we're selling the house, we're splitting the equity. I'm going to buy a house in this school district because this is where my kids go to school and I want to keep them in the same school. I'm getting custody of the kids. Does that person have to sell and buy? Yes, they do. Okay? Those are the types of situations that you want to get yourself in. Those are the types of scenarios where you can serve people at the highest possible level. You want to put yourself in a position to serve at the highest possible level. Are you serving at the highest possible level if you're out driving around a buyer who's not even pre-qualified with a lender, who doesn't even have money for a down payment, who's looking for an approval on some like 130%, you know, VA, FHA? I mean, guys, people will waste your time if you let them. They will waste your time. How do we prevent people from wasting our time? We prospect until we find the people that need our help the most. Then we pre-qualify them to make sure they need our help. Then we go and we list their property, and then that's how we help them, is we help them by selling that property. Selling that property releases them from that location, whether it is that they're moving somewhere else, they're moving somewhere. Well, it doesn't guarantee you that they're buying, but they're moving somewhere. You might be able to refer them somewhere else. You might be able to help them find a rental property. You might be able to help them with whatever they need help with. A lot of people tell me that they got into this business because they like helping people. Guys, let's be clear. There is not a form of business out there where money changes hands where people aren't being helped. Okay? So the definition of business is helping people. I don't care if you're cleaning somebody's house or if you're getting gas or if you're getting your car washed. There's a lot of ways to help people in business. Guess what? My car's dirty. I need a clean car. I go to the car wash and pay the guy $25. He just helped me out. You see what I'm saying? I'm hungry. I go to McDonald's. I order a cheeseburger. I pay him $3 or whatever it costs. I don't even know what it costs, but I pay him whatever, $1 or whatever. I get the cheeseburger. I eat it. McDonald's just helped me out, right? So no matter what you do to make money, you're going to be helping people. Otherwise, you're not going to make any money, okay? A lot of people tell me that they get into real estate because they like architecture or they love homes or they saw HGTV and they thought, oh, wow, I could do that job. And those are all great reasons to get into real estate, guys. But none of those reasons are going to cause you to get paid. None of those reasons, just because you like an HGTV show or something like that. Look, I like HGTV too. You know, maybe they'll put me on there one day. That'd be fun, right? But the truth is, I'm not a TV guy. I just am here to provide for my family. That's why I got into real estate. I got into real estate because whatever it is that they're willing to pay me is not enough. So I got to go figure it out on my own.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
So I'm getting calls about rentals. And how do I put, and so they said, oh, well, I'm moving down, but I want to wait a year. I want you to find a place for me. And then, I'll purchase after I'm there. I don't want to deal with rentals unless it's unless it's my listing. So how do I politely, tell them I want their business when they become buyers, but right now I just can't focus on listings. I mean, I can't focus on rentals, helping you find a rental.
Convert.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna pay me like $1,500 to do it, and that's still not guaranteed.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I do. I refer it, or I say, listen, if you want me to handle it for you, I'm happy to do it, but it's $5,000.
That's it. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Now, here's the thing. You may not get that business a year from now, but maybe you will. The truth is, just because you help them find a home to lease doesn't mean they're going to buy a house from you. Now, if you say, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I'm a great listing agent. I focus on listing and selling property, and I also help people buy property. I have a leasing agent in my office who specializes in leases. Would you mind if I introduce you to them? I promise somebody wants to do leases. I mean, you can make money doing leases, it's just not much. So I would recommend that you find a way to refer the business. And again, we have to focus, guys. You will find whatever it is that you're focusing on. You will find whatever it is that you're focused on. If you're focused on taking listings, you're going to take listings. If you're focused on working with buyers, you're going to work with buyers. Whatever it is that you're focused on, you will find. Yeah, wherever focus goes, energy flows. That's right. It's a universal law, guys. It's just the way it is. So the reason I talk about prospect every single day between 9 and noon for listings is because that's the best use of your time. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it takes courage. Yes, it's embarrassing. Yes, it sucks. No, nobody likes it. Okay, fine. Now we're beyond that. Are you still going to do it? Yes or no? Right? Stop trying to talk yourself into it. Either accept the fact that it's going to suck and do it anyways, or just don't do it and go do something else, right? Go do something that you do enjoy. At what point in time did we cross a barrier that said, I have to enjoy what I do or I'm not doing it? I mean, when did that become a thing? I have to be so happy about everything that I do or it's just not for me. What is that? When did we cross that barrier, guys? Because I missed it. My whole life has been hard. Everything I've ever done in my life has been hard. I don't know about you. I didn't expect this to be easy. I don't know if you do or not. I can tell you that it's not. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys. But we went over a lot of information today, and I just kind of want to recap a little bit, okay? Your listing presentation is so important. Make sure that when you're communicating with people that you are sincere, which means be honest and reliable. This is on page 25. That you're understanding. Focus on their needs, wants, and values. Predictability. Deliver what is promised and expected. Exceptionality. Provide the extraordinary and uncommon. Responsiveness. Report quickly and reliably. The acronym is SUPER, okay? S-U-P-E-R. Sincerity, understanding, predictability, exceptionality, and responsiveness. All very good points. We talked a little about staging. iMoto Photo does virtual staging. Likewise, I would recommend that you become a little bit of a staging expert. Watch some videos. Take some tips. with you. You know, if you can look it up online, check out staging tips, right? Become a bit of an expert on staging. It can help you get listings, right? Communication with sellers is key. You want to be able to provide 10 plus customer service. I communicate with my sellers every week at a minimum. At a minimum, you want to communicate with them every single week. Utilize social media, guys. Utilize social media to promote yourself and to promote your business. Leverage the internet. Okay? Go door knocking to the extent that you feel comfortable doing it. You've got to get the word out. You've got to make open houses a big part of what you do. Okay? Put yourself out there. Advertise your open houses via phone. When you take listings, call everybody in the neighborhood and tell them about it. When you put the listing under contract, call them back, tell them about it again. When you close the listing, call them back, tell them about it again. That's the best way for you to market yourself and your business, guys, to go take one listing. Just take one. I'd love if you guys could just, if everybody on this call could just commit. I'm going to commit to taking one listing in the next 30 days. I don't care what I got to do. I don't care if I got to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm going to take one listing in the next 30 days. And then once you get that one listing, man, you spend as much as you can. You get the best sign you can. You get the best photography that you can. You write the best description that you can. You update that seller as often as possible. Call the entire neighborhood, market yourself, door knock, do everything around that one listing and try to turn that one listing into two. And do the same thing with the next listing. And do the same thing for every single listing that you ever take. And build your business from right now forward in a way where the word professionalism defines who it is that you are and what it is that you're about. Okay? Turn your ideas into action, guys. Focus on the 14-step marketing plan that's outlined on page 18, or I'm sorry, let me look back, page 16. Very important, okay? Very important. Remember the listing, remember the lead funnel. Leads to appointments, appointments to agreements, agreements to contracts. So important. Guys, write the handwritten notes. What if you took a listing and you wrote a handwritten note to everybody in the community and you said, "Hi, my name is Ben Heidenreich. I just wanted to write you a note and let you know that I listed a home down the street from you. If you know anybody that may be interested in buying a home in this neighborhood, please let me know. My business card is enclosed. Thank you very much." Times 200 handwritten notes. Well, what are you doing between 9? I don't have time to write 200. Well, what are you doing between 9 a.m. and noon? Is that prospecting? Yes, it is. Guys, 3 forms of communication: face-to-face, verbal, written. You don't have to call expireds from 9 to noon. You could make Facebook posts. You could DM people on your Insta. You could hit people up in a private chat. You could write handwritten notes for 3 hours. You could call FSBOs for 3 hours. You could call a neighborhood. Guys, there's so many things that you can do. Do not get trapped in the box of calling expired, withdrawn, and for sale by owners. Don't get trapped there. That is something you have to do. Yes, but it is not the only thing that you have to do. There are so many things for you to do. That 9 to noon time is face-to-face, verbal, written. So let's talk about that. Am I face-to-face with you guys right now? Kinda. More so than just a phone call, right? I'm communicating with what, 50 people right now? That's crazy, right? We're all in different places. So that's face-to-face, verbal. We're face-to-face and verbal right now. So you could do Zoom calls, you could do whatever. You could do a live Facebook. You could, I mean, there's so many ways for you to get face to face with people other than just sitting right in front of them. Although sitting in front of people is the most effective form of communication as it relates to effectiveness and getting contracts signed. Verbal, telephone, guys, the telephone will always be the greatest sales tool on the planet because you can move faster, you can cover more ground in the most effective way. I can go from one call to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And if I have my voice tonality, if I have my scripts memorized, if I'm well put together, if I sound great, I'm going to be very effective on the telephone. Written, guys, emails, Facebook posts. I mean, written just goes crazy, right? Written is crazy. So think about that and plan it out. What are you going to do this week? Monday to Friday, 9 to noon. What are you doing? Are you going to wait until 9 a.m. on Monday to decide? Because chances are, if you do that, you're going to spend an hour and a half figuring out who to call, figuring out what to do, figuring out who you're going to write letters to. So you have to plan, guys. Spend Sunday, spend a couple hours planning your week. If you don't have time, then stay up later, get less sleep, wake up earlier. No excuses, right? Yes.
I have a question about your flyers. Do you make a printed flyer for every listing that you have? And do you do it print or virtual? And also, how do you leverage your flyer?
No, I don't do a flyer for every listing that I take. I'll do something to leave in the house. I might do like 25 one-pagers or maybe a brochure to leave in the property for people to take away with them. But I don't even always do that. Again, guys, what are the 3 most important things as it relates to selling property?
Price.
Price, price, and price, okay? Flyers don't get home sold, price does. Now, if that's something you want to add, if that's a layer that you want to add to your business, hey, do it. That's the beautiful thing about it. How would I leverage flyers? I would leverage flyers via mail. The problem with mails is it's expensive, guys. The flyer itself is going to cost you 50 cents, and then the stamp is going to cost you 50 cents. So it's $1 per flyer. How many do you want to mail? 1,000? Okay, there's $1,000. And we know from marketing studies that it takes 7 times for someone to connect with what they're seeing. So if you're going to commit to sending a flyer once, you better commit to sending it 7 times to the same people. So if you send it to 1,000 people times $1 a piece times 7 is $7,000. Do you have $7,000 to leverage your flyers? I don't. It doesn't cost me anything to sit there and make phone calls all morning. Doesn't cost me anything. I mean, I'm going to pay my cell phone bill anyways. Does that make sense? A lot of what we do, guys, is a lot of what we do is we try to find ways around things. My suggestion to you is to go straight at it. Whatever that means to you. I know that a lot of different people have a lot of different phase. You're in a different phase of your life. Guys, like I told you, I mean, look, I didn't get my stuff together till I was 30 years old. I've got friends who came out of college. I've got people who I'm training. I've got an agent in my PC group who's 19 years old. He's living with his parents, and he's taking listings every week. Guys, when I was 19 years old, all I wanted to do was blow stuff up. I was in the Army, okay? I didn't care about money. I cared about guns and gunpowder and girls and stuff. I mean, I could care less. So, we're all in different phases of our lives at different times, and you have to honor wherever you are in your life cycle. If you have kids, you're not, you know, and that's your responsibility. You're not going to be able to put in a full day maybe, but what can you do, right? There's a famous basketball coach. His name is John Wooden, okay? He's the most winning basketball coach in history. And he said, I would rather lose doing my very best than to win giving a half-hearted effort. Now that's heavy. Think about that. See, most of us would rather win giving a half-hearted effort, if we're being honest. And that's the difference. That's the difference between us and them. That's the difference between them and us. See, in my first 6 months in the business, I would rather win giving a half-hearted effort. In my second 6 months in the business, I realized that the only way I was ever going to do anything was to go as straight at it and do the best, very, very best I could at everything. And I promise you, if you do the very, very best you can, regardless of what your life will allow, you will succeed. It may take time, but you will succeed. And when you succeed, guess what happens? You have options. The more success you have, the more options you have. The more money you make, the more options you have. You operate like a great listing agent. Schedule 5, cancel 3, go on 2, take 1. 2 months from now, guess what you're doing with your kids? Hey, when are you going to be here? I got to get out of here. I've got 3 listing appointments this afternoon. Make sure you feed them chicken nuggets. You see what I'm saying? You're bringing in people to watch your kids. You can afford to do things. You can afford, you know, you have options, guys. So you have to fight. You have to fight for everything if you want it. If you want it. Now look, we're all going to stumble into deals. We're all going to fall into deals. I hope that you stumble into deals sooner than later. I hope you never have to prospect in your whole life and you just can stumble into all the deals that you need. Okay? I'm not one of those people that likes pain, guys. Okay? I hope for you that you don't have to go through everything that I've had to go through to succeed.
Can you talk a little bit about marketing with social media? How would you market your listing? Like, what are your, top 5 or so? How you would do that?
I'm not a great person to ask that because I don't really do a lot of social media marketing. But I think that it's the most effective way to market yourself on social media is to be authentic and to put out positive messages and to do it often and to promote yourself. Let people know what you're doing. Constantly be talking, giving market updates. Constantly be talking about your listings. Constantly be talking about the real estate market. Constantly be not saying, hey, send me some business, but more like, hey, just want to let you guys know what's happening with mortgage rates right now. Hey, just want to let you guys know what's happening in the Atlanta real estate market right now. Hey, just want to let you guys know about this new listing I just took. Hey, just want to let you guys know, be a source of information as from a real estate perspective, because we're all fighting for mind share, right? If I say hamburger, most people are going to say McDonald's. If I say grocery store, most people are going to say Kroger or Whole Foods or Publix. If I say car, most people are going to say Mercedes-Benz or Ford or whatever, right? These companies, these brands own mind share in your mind per that particular subject. You want to own mind share for the subject of real estate with the people that you are connected with. Does that make sense? And the way that you do that is by calling them, talking to them in person, or like you said, putting it out on social media. So my strategy would be, okay, if I was going to jump into a social media strategy, my strategy would be, I'm going to do a real estate related post every single day, 7 days a week. Something. Maybe it's an article. Maybe it's, hey, I'm at an open house, come see me. Maybe it's, hey, I just took a new listing. Maybe it's, hey, here's what's happening in the marketplace. Hey, here's what's happening with mortgage rates. Guys, something very important that you need to know about. It's called the stock market. So important. You need to know what's happening with the stock market. You need to know what's happening with mortgage rates. You need to know that the 10-year treasury bond is tied to the mortgage rate. Okay? You need to be tracking these things and be able to speak intelligently about these things with people.
Do you recommend the Wall Street Journal for stuff like that, or?
Yeah, anything like marketwatch.com is a good one. CSNBC, you know, even just to spend 5 minutes checking it out in the morning time will give you more information, and it'll give you talking points. It'll give you talking points. And it might not mean anything to you the first couple times, but I promise you, you spend 5 minutes every morning reading financial news, checking the front page of Market Watch. Guys, a month from now, you know exactly what's going on, okay? Guys, turn off Fox, turn off CNN, turn off all this garbage. It's garbage. I don't care if you like whoever you like, or you're going to vote, like, whatever, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. It's all garbage. As it pertains to you going out and taking listings every day, all that stuff's garbage. Get rid of it. Get rid of the negativity. I tell people, don't do anything before you get on the phone and prospect. Don't watch the news. Don't do anything. Go work out, eat a healthy breakfast, get on the phone. Healthy breakfast, guys. Don't do the freaking 5-egg omelet with a pound of sausage and a buttered biscuit, okay? You can be like, oh, I'm going to take me a nap before I get on the phone. Drink a smoothie or something. Eat an apple. You know what I'm saying? Get your energy level up. The reason why guys, there's a cycle that we all live on, okay? And it goes from the time you wake up, it goes up to about 5 or 6 o'clock, and then it starts going down and you go to bed. And then when you wake up, it goes up. From 9 to noon, you are on the upward trend. That is when your mind and physiologically your body is in its peak state, okay? That's why it's so important to get sleep. Because when you wake up and you're on that curve, you want your mind and your body to be in the best place it can be. That's why we want to develop business in the morning, because you're at your best. You're at your sharpest. Guys, I've covered the entire lesson plan today. You guys want to keep hanging out and keep talking, asking questions, or y'all want to go do some prospecting now? We haven't done our 10-4 for the day. This is the last session I'm going to be teaching to you guys. And so I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. Or we can get to a 20-minute call block if you want, and wrap the day up that way.
I like the 20-minute
Hold
call.
it back night then. That's
Sorry?
all I gotta say.
All right, so let's do it, guys. Let's knock it out. We got 20 minutes. It's 3:41 right now. What's that?
That was me. I think, oh, we're doing that. Okay, yeah. Ignore me.
Hey, Deb.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
I'm in a Kroger. I'm going to go back on mute. It's been rough. I'm sitting in Kroger, so.
Hey, by the way, guys, Devin actually has been kicking some serious butt lately, hadn't you, Devin?
Yeah. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I've been trying. I had my first closing today. So
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Where did it come from, Ben? Who did you call to get that listing?
Oh man, it was a buyer. I met Miss Bertha, who's like a grandmother to me now. I met her in August. She was a FISBO, and I listed her 2 properties. We didn't sell them because they were way, way overpriced. And then she called me when she was ready to purchase, and she said she doesn't want anybody to help her buy a house but me. And I always tell her the first day I went into her home, I promised her I was going to put her into a new house. So her next Thanksgiving, even though we're late, she was going to have all of her family around. So, I mean, it's been a long, long journey, but we did it today. She's 82. She's the sweetest thing ever. And yeah, it was awesome. So,
congratulations.
but I will say, thank you. I will say one thing as a new agent. I know Ben had touched on it. Everything is about your schedule. And I know when I came in, I was extremely overwhelmed. It was like walking into a job. I've been in restaurants for 19 years. So I've always had serious on-the-job training, and it was like, here's the manual. This we're going over today. Apply it. We're going over this the next day. Apply it. And it's not like that with real estate. You kind of just have all this stuff in front of you, and then you're like, all right, I got to figure it out. Just mountain of paperwork, and you just have to file it, but you don't know where files go where, and some of them get mixed up. So you just have to take it one step at a time. Definitely utilize Command. It's incredible. Utilize your PC coach and utilize agents in your office. And one of the most important things that Ben has taught me is about sticking to your schedule. And you'll have some agents that tell you real estate is a full-time job. You have to go full-time. But I was working in a restaurant, and I would go into work. I'd have to be there at 4 p.m. So I'd be up at 6:30, in the office at 8. Extremely inconsistent. I was extremely inconsistent. I always fell short. But then I'd be in the office and doing my thing until 3:30, and then go to work until 4, and I wouldn't go to bed till 2 or 3, and I get back up. And right now that I'm full-time, I'm actually doing that schedule that I kept failing for. I'm working 12 to 18 hours a day because with COVID happening, I told myself I wasn't going back, and I don't plan on going back. So it's all about your schedule. If you can't do the real estate schedule that we posted, what you need to do is find a time block schedule. That's what I did, or I do. And you need to plug your life into that schedule from morning to night. If you take a nap every day at 3:30, and you're not ready to change that, you need to put that in there, and you need to figure out where you can dedicate your prospecting to. If you're working full time, so I heard somebody talking about it earlier, you can still be a great agent and work full time, but if it's only 3 hours a week. We had agents come into our office that they got their first listing within like 2 days. And that can be you too. So if you're working full time and your goal is to leave that job, if you take on that one listing and you take home a $6,000 check, can you cut back 3 days at your other job for a couple months? Most likely, yeah. And then you change your schedule again. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to dedicate 6 hours a week or 9 hours. And you just have to stick to that. And you have to learn your scripts. There's 4 things that I tell new agents in my office: scripts, systems, structure, and I think that's it. Maybe it was 3. I can't remember the last one. But scripts, having systems, and keeping a structure around your systems, and that's it. The scripts are everything. Every job you have ever worked was a script. For me, I'm sure some of y'all worked in restaurants, our menu is a script. So, our guests see one thing, but when we have to know the ingredients, we have to know the plate it comes on. All of that is a script. So while they look scary because they're written, it's what you've always done. If you work in a doctor's office, the information that you know is a script. So if you stick to your scripts, when somebody says something to you, like, okay, well, I don't want that. And then you're like, oh, well, we can do this, or we can do that instead. You have your objections, just like with anything else. You memorize those scripts, I guarantee you. That's all sales is. So, and you just have to have discipline. Motivation is nothing unless you have discipline. I also learned that from Ben. So that's all. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Devin. Devin has done great, guys. I mean, she really has. It took her a while, but it took me a while too. It might take you a while, or maybe you'd be one of the people that just come in and get it. But great job, Devin. You're killing it. Didn't you have a listing appointment too last week? Don't you have a listing appointment going on or something?
I went on one yesterday. It was kind of a listing appointment. I just wanted to go see their house. There's no comps anywhere. So I talked to them. It's this older couple, or sweet as pie. And they're not ready to sign an agreement yet, but they want to. He just has some things around the house that he wants to fix that he started, like electrical, and he's done a ton of stuff to his house. The house did not end. But I got that listing appointment because I have a rental listing up the street, which also when I talked to that client, now he is listing for sale at $349. So the couple I saw yesterday, they drove down the street and they saw his sign. So she's calling me and texting me and asking all these questions. So I think she wants to rent. And I was like, okay, the rent is, she's like, oh, I thought it's for sale. I said, we're actually going to put it on the market too for this much. She's like, okay, well, do you think you can sell my house too? Like, yeah, I think I can. Not sure if I can. No, I know I can. But it's very hard. It's very difficult to do comps. So I'm going to have another agent come down with me and get their opinion also. So it's always smart to utilize that too. We don't know what we're doing. We only know what we know, and we don't know what we don't know. So all of it is a learning experience. There's nothing like my entire closing I just had, every step I had to call someone, I had to text someone, I had to Google something. My contract person, I probably owe her like my entire life. I drive everybody crazy because I ask a ton of questions, but you know, it's a very serious transaction we're dealing with. There's a lot of contracts. You know, these are people's lives. It's the biggest investment of their life, you know, aside from having kids. So it's, don't ever be afraid to ask questions because I don't know about y'all, I just don't want to go to jail. I don't want a $16,000 fine for not doing my lead-based paint agreement the wrong way. And so, you know, for me, and I do have really bad anxiety too. Ben will definitely tell you that. He's like, Devin, just sign on the line. I'm like, but on this
the real estate police are going to come and get her.
I do. I'm always so scared, but it's all about experience, and then that you just kind of have to breathe and just have the people that you can reach out to and just say, hey, what am I supposed to do next? What am I supposed to do next? Because, you know, if you don't have the checklist in front of you, they really don't expect much else. And if your office is well, I don't want to say that, but if I'm sure our offices, because we're all with Keller Williams actually, and every agent I've met in my office, outside of my office, they're incredible. They're super nice, willing to help, because one thing with our company is we are a big team and everybody wants everybody else to win, even though we are in competition with each other. So definitely reach out, get an accountability partner for different things. I have 3, one to wake up in the morning, one to drink water, one to run scripts with. So that's it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate it.
I'm just talking. Anytime.
All right, who's got questions, guys? We got 10 minutes here. Let's talk real estate. What's up?
I have a question.
Yeah. What's up?
I got excited because I thought I had an unrepresented buyer.
Yeah.
And so I was like looking all over on the golf forums, like when I get an unrepresented buyer or when I'm having an open house, is there a disclosure that I should have right there on the spot to just be like, okay, so you want to be a customer, put your order, put
buyer brokerage agreement.
No, but if it's my listing, I'm representing the seller.
That's okay.
I can have a buyer brokerage agreement with the customer?
For sure. Yeah, you need one.
I think her question is around dual agency. Are you talking about a buyer that's interested in the property that you're doing?
That's interested in my property, but he's unrepresented. Thank you. So I want to get 2 sides of the deal. So what do I do?
So in the buyer brokerage agreement, there's a section where you can check whether or not they're going to be a client or whether they're going to be a customer. And on the purchase and sale agreement, there's an area where you can check that you're representing the buyer as a client or a customer. In both of those cases, you want to check that they're a customer and not a client, because it's only dual agency if you're representing both the buyer and the seller in the capacity of client. So you want to make sure that you represent you've already signed the listing agreement with the seller, and therefore they are your client. So we probably don't allow dual agency. So therefore you will want to represent the buyer as a customer.
Great. And will I write up his contract since he's a customer? Will
Yes.
I write up that contract for him?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Getting 6% is awesome, guys. It's so much fun.
It really is.
What else? Great question.
I'm gonna ask not really ask a question. This is little things that I found out myself. You're all familiar? I know you're familiar with Command. You all know when you go into Command, when you start opportunities, it pretty much kind of lists like a checklist of everything that you need for your transaction. If you go on, so that was helpful for me, so I could see like what I need, and it's in folders. So the first one is the consultation, and then you have under contract and close, and it literally lists out the documents that you need signed. So I always have, my first 3 for consultations ready to go. If you go into answers, I'll put it in the chat too, but it's answers.kw.com. That shows you literally every single article that pertains to Command is in there. And it breaks each one down. There's videos, there's screenshots. I'm more of a step-by-step person. All of that is in there. Definitely utilize Command. A good practice, if you meet someone, you're out and you take their number, you either write it down or just put it in your notes on your phone, and then just write a little note next to it to remind you, and then add them to your database later. And you want to beef up your Command too, because you want to stand out from people. So when you're adding your contacts in, I would have mine up. Mine is horrible right now. I haven't been working on it, and then I'll put Facebook up. And I'm kind of a creep, so I go on Facebook and I look through all their stuff and try to find little things. I find their birthday, if they have kids, I see if they mention their kids' birthdays and things like that. And obviously it has to be people I know. It can be somebody I met, yesterday, sending their kid a birthday card because that's weird. But with friends and family, if you go and use Facebook, there's so much information there, and then you can use that. You put that in, you set up smart plans, so we'll give you a little heads up hey, send a birthday card out today, send a text at this time at this day. You can link a Twilio account to it, and it will automatically send birthday text messages to people. Yeah, I'll put the link in there. So Command is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It's an awesome CRM. So definitely utilize that. There's also, I have to find it. If I find it, I'll find some way to get it to y'all. But anywhere in my KW, I found a lot of stuff just by playing with everything. That's how I learned Command. I learned DocuSign. I used to teach DocuSign for our office. So if you just go in and you just move things around and just okay, what's this? What's that? There are some checklists in there also. They're more geared towards .loop, and there's some things in there I didn't know, but it's definitely helpful. And then find someone hey, can you help me tweak this? And then just talk to as many agents as you can about how they sell real estate. Because there's certain things that Ben does, and I'm oh, I love that. And there'll be something else that he does. I'm that's really cool. And then I try to do it. I'm that's just not my personality type. I'm not like that. And then, my team leader will say something and she teaches the class. I'm oh, okay, that's probably more so how I would sound. I'm not a driver like Ben. Ben gets up and he goes and he hustles. I've never seen anything like it. I'm getting there now, but it really took me to get to a point where it's I don't really have another choice. And now I'm just hungry, so I'm excited. But I know how my personality is. I know how my anxiety gets, and I would literally have all this stuff in front of me, and I'm you know what? I'll just do real estate next week instead. Let me take another week. And then it was 9 months later. I'm okay, it's been a few weeks now. I need to try to jump into it. So recognizing how you are as an agent, don't try to do what the very first person you're learning from is trying to do. If it's not your style, go to the next and try to figure it out and take little things and tweak it. You have to find your own style. We're not all doing it the same way, but there's a lot of people that are successful by doing it their way. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't have a lot of friends, so I just like to talk. I'm just
That's
kidding.
awesome, Devin. Thank you.
Hey, so Ben, so I've heard you say a couple times getting the full 6% commission, And under what circumstances do we get the full 6%?
If you represent the buyer and the seller, if there's not another realtor in the transaction, like if you do an open house and somebody walks in and they say, I want to buy it, then you represent them as a customer and the seller as a client, you get 6%.
Yeah, Ben, I want to make my comment is you have a very deep insight and perspective in real estate, and it's been very refreshing just sitting back and listening to all your experiences and your successes. The question is, from another office, even though we are KW Ross Group, do you object to somebody from another office reaching out to you for some advice or some, not necessarily coaching, but just to ask you some questions and get your views about some things?
I'm fine with it. You know, I think that the Rawls Group doesn't want it done that way. They want you to reach out within your own office. So that's the official response that I have to give. At the same time, if you sent me an email and you asked me some questions, I'd probably answer it.
You probably will. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry,
And
Connor.
I don't object to it at all. And I want to thank you for what you said. It means a lot to me. I would love to be able to work with and coach agents throughout the Rawls Group. And maybe one day I'll be, and honestly, this is the way I can do that, honestly, right now, right? Maybe we'll figure out other ways to do that. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have, as long as it doesn't cross the boundaries of what I can and cannot do.
Yeah, but see, that's, you know, I don't understand that though. If you are tapped as a as an instructor teaching this class,
yeah,
for Ross Group,
yeah.
so what prevents, why is Ross having that stipulation that you cannot work with another agent from another office? But you're teaching the class anyway.
Hey, here's what I could tell you. I'd be happy to do it. If you know, the person to ask about it would be your TL or your assistant team leader. I'd be happy to help you, man. More than happy to do it. And
Okay.
And that goes for anybody.
All right, thank you.
Ben, what is the best way to find distressed properties and to access tax lien properties?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure. I don't work distressed properties or tax lien properties. If I did, I would probably look for a database of or where, when tax liens are placed on properties, that information goes through the courthouse. So I would try to get access to the database that when liens are placed on property, I would try to get that property information before anybody else. I don't know how to do that though, because I'm not in that business.
Hey Ben, I'm gonna take a quick screenshot so I can be mindful of the campers and trainings time.
Yeah, please.
For those that have to go. So if y'all need 2 seconds, and my screen's being a little weird, so I have to do 4 across. So just give me 1 second, all right? So here goes the first one. And everybody's good, okay. And it goes the second one. Why is it all black? All right, cool. Let me see everyone. Oh my gosh, Rachel, she is so cute. Okay, ready. And Dolores, I think she's there. Okay, and then one more. Perfect. All right, we're good. We're good.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Guys.
guys. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you both.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I have
guys.
a question for you, Ben.
Yes.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you again.
Bye.
Ben. Was awesome.
Nice to meet y'all. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, Ben, are you hanging out?
I'm here for a couple minutes, then I got to jump. What's up?
Good. That's all I need. So I didn't hear what my classmate had asked you directly, but it sounds like my question may be along those lines as well. So I'll just go ahead and say this really quick. I appreciate what you bring to the table. I enjoy the way you think and how you process real estate. A lot of ways I can connect with that, being a sales guy and your bottom line, just a numbers guy. One thing I take away from what the young lady just shared is that, you're very disciplined. And I think that's a key thing in a business like this. And I would like to shadow that. I want to see what that discipline looks like for my own personal sake. I just want to see what that level of discipline looks like on just a regular day. So,
sure.
Maybe I speak with my assistant team lead to see if you have the time where I can just see this, but I just want to see what it looks like for my own, personal growth and development. I may have questions in and out there, but, I just see it as like a rookie training with LeBron for a day. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get a feel for like what that looks like on that type of level.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, I'd be happy to do something like that. Again, if you're going to have to work it through the right channels, because I could get in trouble if I just kind of like started doing that.
Absolutely.
But I'd be happy. I'd be more than happy to do it. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll get I'll connect the dots and see what's acceptable and not. I won't put neither one of us in the fire like that, but I would appreciate just a day of that, just to see, just because just given the content you shared, obviously I hold you at a specific regard as it pertains to real estate. I see myself doing big things in this game. I know I'm a dog when it comes to sales, not to be too upfront, but there's a lot of things to learn from your method of sales. So I just want to I want to see it. That's just
man. I'd be happy to do something like that. And ultimately I can tell you that it's a lot, man. It's a lot. I've gotten to it's almost like the analogy that I use is like if you've never run long distance before, right? And you go out and you try to run a mile.
I was just trying to see.
You've got to get yourself to the point where you can sprint a mile. And that takes time. But eventually, you're running at full speed and you're breathing normal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, and there's no shortcuts either. So you can't just like jump from like doing a slow jog to a full pace run. It just takes, but at the same time, the person that goes out and does 2 a day is going to get there faster than the person that does 1 a day.
5, right?
But the person that does 1 a day is going to get there faster than the person that does it every weekend.
You all close at 5,
you
correct?
know what I'm saying? So it all comes down to your commitment to the level of discipline that's required in the schedule, and doing the things that you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do them. So, but I'd be happy to let you come and shadow me, man. That'd be great.
Yeah, just I guess a day in the life,
Sure.
Pick your brain and go from there. But again, thanks for all this you brought for these last few days. I got a lot of nuggets that I'm sure I'll recycle one day when I'm probably giving some of these lectures. Some guy named Ben says this.
Right.
I'll just tweak it a little bit.
On Friday
but thanks again for everything. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you for your compliments. I really appreciate that.
Got it.
Hey,
No problem.
I
I'll be in touch with you.
I didn't want to go a month out. But yeah, you can just
had a quick question for you.
I didn't really want to throw off the schedule my every 6 months. Well, can I move my time up tomorrow?
So I had a quick question for you in regards to dealing like in your own personal real estate, how the commission works for that.
Okay.
So if you're, for instance, you're a realtor and you're looking to buy a property, then you're representing yourself as an agent?
By a certain time. You think that
as a buyer's agent?
It can be done by 30
And so you can still receive a commission from transaction.
Yep.
And what about if you're listing your own property?
You can take a commission if you want to. I would.
It's just like if you were representing someone else, except for you're the person in both cases. You're the client and the agent, and so you just list that on the paperwork, and you're still able to get a commission on your own.
That's exactly right.
property. You just still pay out those same percentages, even if it's your own personal property, to the brokerage.
That's correct.
Okay.
And so if you listed it at a lower percent, you wouldn't pay as much to the brokerage for your own deal. And there's also the potential for you to, sometimes your brokerage might give you a freebie when you're doing your own property. So you want to ask your team leader about that kind of thing, because sometimes you could get a freebie maybe.
Okay. And I had another question in regards to like open houses too, because I want to make sure, I don't step on anyone's toes. If you have the listing agent that invites you to do an open house to represent an unrepresented buyer, how does it work when a client comes in that's not interested in buying that property, but requests you to your information, that's looking to work with you, but the listing agent also wants to take that client?
So that's going to be something that you want to discuss with that listing agent prior to you holding your house open, kind of like how they deal with that.
Okay. But there's nothing that's written. That's kind of like a discussion that needs to be had between the two agents. There's nothing that's written that kind of says, hey, these are the rules.
Yeah, that's right. So it's just something between. So I'll give you an example for me. If you're holding an open house for me, then it's going to be
okay with 10:30 or 10 if somebody cancels at that time tomorrow.
Can anybody mute Rashida?
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
Rashida, you're doing a great job, but your speaker's on.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. So if you were holding an open house for me for one of my listings, then you would get whatever lead came in. It's your lead. I have nothing to do with that because you were there. So that's how I deal with it.
Thank you.
For sure.
Well, I really appreciate all the insight and information you had to offer. You shared a little bit about your background. It was extremely helpful. So I'm sad that we don't have you again, but again, it was a pleasure to virtually meet you, and good luck with your business. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's been an honor to work with you, and I hope that what I've said has helped you in some way, and that you can carry these things on into the future. And if I can ever be of assistance to you, just reach out to me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. You have Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I add you on Facebook? Is that all right?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. And I can just look up, I think your name's pretty unique. So Mr.
Ben Heidenreich. I'm the only one, the one and only. No.
Okay.
I'm the only one in Atlanta. There's probably some other ones out there.
Okay. Ben Heidenreich. That's it. It's not Benjamin or anything, just Ben.
Nope,
okay.
Ben.
All right. Well, thank you again. It's been a pleasure.
All right, guys.
For the rest of your day.
I gotta jump. I'll talk to you guys later. Good luck with Ignite. Good luck with your business. Good luck in the future. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.